I'm about to share something your parents, teachers, and mentors probably never taught you. Saying no can be the ultimate act of generosity. This single realization helped me escape the prison of people pleasing that kept me stuck at the same level for 6 years. By the end of this video, you'll understand why setting boundaries isn't just about self-protection, it's about creating the space to offer your authentic gifts to the world. I'll break down the neuroscience behind why saying yes to everything actually makes you less valuable to everyone around you. What if I told you that your willingness to help others might be the very thing holding you back? That your instinct to accommodate every request is actually sabotaging your potential? This isn't just counterintuitive, it's backed by science. And the evidence might make you reconsider your relationship with the word yes. From our earliest years, we're conditioned to view acquiescence as virtuous. Be helpful, they told us. Don't be selfish, they warned. These childhood lessons crystallize into professional habits that seem unquestionable. After all, isn't being accommodating the path to success? The data suggests otherwise. This conditioning creates a dangerous cycle where ambitious professionals like you sacrifice well-being on the altar of accommodation. Psychologists have identified this as identity dissolution, a gradual erosion of self that happens when external demands consistently override internal needs. You become increasingly disconnected from your authentic self, losing touch with your core values and genuine desires. The most alarming aspect of this phenomenon is how it transforms high-potential individuals into what researcher Dr. Elena Markovska calls professional ghosts, physically present but absent in authentic contribution. These are the people who show up to every meeting, volunteer for every project, and respond to every email within minutes, yet struggle to articulate their unique perspective or make meaningful impact. They become shadows of their former selves, trapped in a cycle of reaction rather than creation. Neuroscience offers a biological explanation for this transformation. When you constantly overcommit, your brain experiences chronic stress, triggering persistent cortisol spikes. These elevated stress hormones literally remodel your brain over time, shrinking the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making and executive function. Your physical capacity to say no becomes compromised as your brain adapts to prioritize immediate social harmony over long-term well-being. Consider the case of Michael, a software engineer whose meteoric rise at a tech startup suddenly plateaued. During our coaching sessions, we traced his career stagnation directly to his inability to establish boundaries. His manager increasingly assigned him maintenance tasks that kept critical systems running, but prevented him from contributing to innovative projects where promotions were earned. His reputation as the reliable fix-it guy had trapped him in a role far below his capabilities. There's a mathematical impossibility at play here that affects every yes person. The excellence dilution principle. If you have 40 hours in your work week and say yes to 60 hours of commitments, something must give. Either you work unsustainable hours, or the quality of your work decreases by 33%. There is no third option. Excellence requires focused attention, and attention is a finite resource that cannot be manufactured through willpower alone. What's perhaps most surprising is the connection between strategic refusal and accelerated career advancement. A 5-year study at Stanford tracked 142 mid-career professionals and found that those who advanced most rapidly weren't the ones who took on the most responsibility. They were the ones who selectively committed to fewer, higher impact projects where their unique skills created disproportionate value. The mental health consequences of chronic agreement are severe. You don't just experience burnout. You undergo a fundamental erosion of your capacity to recognize your own needs, wants, and authentic contributions. You become a miserable, downtrodden shadow of your former self, incapable of serving anyone effectively, including yourself. The passion and purpose that once drove you fade into a distant memory. This process creates a profound sense of dishonesty and resentment within you. On the surface, you're agreeing to requests and commitments, but beneath lies reluctance and burden. This misalignment between your actions and genuine feelings prevents authentic service to others and destroys your personal fulfillment. Tasks you once enjoyed become sources of dread or indifference. Perhaps most disturbing is how this pattern stunts your personal growth. The energy expended on keeping everyone else happy leaves nothing for pursuing passions, cultivating personal qualities, or broadening horizons. You reach a stagnant state where you're merely there without expanding or evolving. This lack of development creates a profound sense of being stuck, hindering both your career advancement and personal satisfaction. What workplace psychologists call excellence dilution becomes your daily reality. A state where overcommitment leads to declining quality in everything you touch and a diminished ability to excel in any area. The mathematics of attention distribution guarantee that saying yes to everything means delivering excellence in nothing. While saying yes to everything mathematically guarantees mediocrity, the inverse creates an effect few professionals ever fully realize. This phenomenon, known as the value-scarcity paradox, reveals a counterintuitive truth. Your professional value increases in direct proportion to your strategic refusals. When you transform yourself from an infinite resource into a finite one, you trigger a fundamental shift in how others perceive value and allocate your time and talents. Consider this: contrary to what most of us have been led to believe, the most sought-after professionals aren't those who make themselves perpetually available. They're the ones who have mastered the art of selective commitment. Research consistently shows that high performers say no significantly more frequently than their underachieving counterparts. Each refusal isn't just protecting their time, it's actively increasing their perceived value within their organization. When you say yes to everything, you're inadvertently training your colleagues and superiors to see your time as abundant and therefore less valuable. It's basic economics applied to human psychology. Resources perceived as scarce are automatically assigned greater value. Every time you accommodate a low-value request, you're sending subtle signals that your expertise, focus, and energy are unlimited commodities rather than precious, finite resources deserving careful allocation. This conditioning happens gradually but inexorably. The colleague who knows you'll always say yes stops considering whether their request merits your attention. The manager who sees you taking on everything ceases to prioritize what truly deserves your unique skills. You become the path of least resistance rather than the resource reserved for maximum impact. Organizational psychologists have documented how this pattern affects entire teams. Groups where members establish clear capacity boundaries consistently outperform those where unlimited availability is the norm. When team members articulate what they can realistically accomplish with excellence, it forces better prioritization, more thoughtful resource allocation, and ultimately higher quality outcomes across the entire unit. The concept of strategic unavailability isn't about becoming difficult or uncooperative. It's about creating intentional perception shifts that cultivate respect. By carefully selecting where you invest your energy and attention, you train others to view your contributions as valuable precisely because they aren't unlimited. This scarcity-based respect leads directly to increased recognition of your worth. Look at Sarah Chen, a marketing director who transformed her department's performance not by expanding efforts, but by contracting them. After years of saying yes to every campaign and initiative, she implemented what she called a focused excellence model, where her team committed to fewer, higher impact projects. Within 6 months, department productivity increased by 37%, while team satisfaction scores rose from the bottom quartile to the top 15% company-wide. Or consider James Harrington, a software architect whose career stalled despite working 70-hour weeks. His turning point came when he began declining involvement in projects outside his core expertise. Rather than diminishing his value, this strategic specialization led to him being sought out for the most critical system designs. His refusals created space for deeper work in his area of genuine expertise, elevating both his contributions and his compensation. These examples illustrate a critical truth. Saying no isn't about doing less overall. It's about creating the space required for meaningful yes commitments that showcase your true potential. When you maintain boundaries around your time and energy, you gain the capacity for the deep, focused work that distinguishes true experts from mere participants. Each strategic no preserves your capacity for the deep work that produces breakthrough results. It maintains the cognitive resources needed for innovation rather than mere completion. It safeguards the mental space required to transcend adequacy and achieve excellence. This is the mathematics of professional scarcity in action, the deliberate limiting of your availability to increase the quality and impact of your contributions. How does saying no make you more valuable to your team? When you become a finite resource, you transform how others allocate access to your talents. They become more thoughtful about what they bring to you. They prepare more thoroughly before engaging you. They prioritize substantive matters over trivial ones. In short, they begin treating your time and expertise with the respect it deserves. We've spent our time unpacking the true cost of constant accommodation, and now we arrive at perhaps the most liberating truth. Saying no is often the kindest act possible, not just for yourself, but for everyone in your orbit. Think about it. When you say no to what drains you, you create sacred space for your authentic contributions to emerge. These aren't just empty words. Research confirms that deliberate refusal allows individuals to recharge and recalibrate, ensuring that when they do say yes, it's an emphatic, energized choice that supports their best work. Your boundaries aren't obstacles to success. They're the very foundation upon which your most meaningful impact will be built.